Welcome back for a new top 5 criminally underrated list. This time we are looking at the PlayStation 1 or PS1, PSX. With that said, we have two honorable mentions today. We have a variety of different types of games. But with that said, let's check it out. Music today comes from the game Rhyme. First up of the two honorable mentions, Dark Stone. Darkstone is an interesting game to say the least. If you like classic, like medieval setting games in a specific format, and you're used to more like, say, PC games of the era, I think you will feel right at home with this game in all honesty. And yeah, it is an RPG, as you see, but you can also do up to 8 players, or wait, 8 playable characters with 32 environments, 30 types of weapons, 32 different spells. So yeah, just one thing to keep in mind with this game, the frame rate definitely drops a lot. That's definitely one of the biggest, I would say, caveats to this game, but overall still, I do think it's an interesting experience, especially on the PS1, and you could still get this game very affordable. So if you get a chance, or check out gameplay here on YouTube. It's definitely interesting. Second of the two honorable mentions is one I have never seen anyone else really talk about on YouTube, which surprises me. It's actually an interesting little puzzle game. It's relatively very small. And yeah, it doesn't need a memory card because you get like codes at the end once you beat a level. That way you can start where you left off. But the Bombing Islands is a very unique game, to say the least, where you play with a very different sort of clown than typical. Of if you're looking for some with like puzzles, at least a somewhat challenge as it gets harder and harder as it goes on. And your main goal is to blow up and destroy the island. You need to position the bombs on the island specific ways so you can take it out with as few explosions as possible. But make sure at the same time you don't blow yourself up. But it's an interesting game I do recommend checking out more, as I picked this up mid-condition for like $4. So yeah, you can get this very, very affordable. Next, coming at number 5, is a game that really needs no introduction for people who actually grew up in the PS1 era and were big sci-fi fans, as this was developed by the same people that worked on the early Armored Core games, as you see the main logo at the bottom here. With that said, this is the first of a trilogy, but I still feel these games, all of them, are criminally underrated, and Colony Wars deserves way more love than it gets. Graphically, this game looks pretty good for PS1 era. I would actually argue this looks as good as early PS2 era games. Graphically, this was ahead of its time, and frankly, this game deserves more love than it gets. It's also a 2-disc, and you get pretty good overall amount of content in it. It is nice, at least it does support memory card usage, thank goodness, as well as analog support, which really does help playing the game with analog controls. Still, Colony Wars deserves way more love than it gets. And if you get a chance, check this game out seriously. The original is a true all-time classic. For me at number 4, from Konami, we have Metal Gear Solid VR Missions. Metal Gear Solid 1 gets a ton of praise, and most Metal Gear Solid games do. However, this game has never received a true, remaster, and I hardly ever see anybody ever talk about this game as a bunch of basically mini missions to test your skills with the game. Plus, it's just a lot of fun. You get tests through whether it be sneaking or using specific type of weapons from the game. It's just a blast. And I love playing sort of in a VR mission mode. It's quite interesting. As you see, you have like several things like play as ninja in missions, seek and destroy, endless swarms of guards. You even sometimes face giant guards. Over 300 training missions in this game. So you have to practice a lot, and definitely it can prove to be very challenging when you get to the later missions. Also, you have mystery mode, which is actually really cool. But if you get a chance to check out Metal Gear Solid VR missions, it's definitely worth your time. Coming at number 3 is a tie between two games that deserve so much to get a remaster and re-release. Both superb, great fighting games from Square Enix, or at this time, Squaresoft. It's sad these games did not do better than they did. As a weapon-based fighting game, I would say these are some of the true pinnacles of early weapon-based fighting games, as you have a completely free environment to move around in, and you can kill someone in one hit because it's all based on weapons and actually based more around reality, so you're not going to be able to do tons of attacks like, say, Soul Calibur and things. It's more based around reality with real actual sword techniques and everything, which really gives Bido Blade a unique feel unto itself. And yeah, it's up to a two-player game. I personally like the mini stories with each character, but I like the fact that it's more made around actual reality. And it's cool also chopping down bamboo trees and stuff while you're trying to fight, but you need to actually lots of patience in order to do a perfect knockout strike. Since you don't have a standard life bar in Bido Blade 1 or 2. Still, they are great games that deserve way more praise than they get. There's a reason these games have a very loyal hardcore cult following. Yeah, you have a total of... You have 12 new warriors plus the original 8 from the first game, so until you have 20 characters you can play as in the second game, with fighting 6 different fighting modes, which makes things more interesting. But if you do get a chance, as they are not super expensive as of yet, they are starting to go up in price. But if you can get a chance to try out Bido Blade, give it a shot. It's a very unique experience, unlike pretty much any other weapon-based fighting game that's ever released. And it sucks it remains on the PS1 only. Coming in at number 2, again from Square. This series is a game that I think deserves a HD remaster like Final Fantasy, as well as many other games from this area have already gone. I was surprised the fact they did give the treatment to Chrono Cross, which deserved it, but this is another, in my opinion, criminally underrated RPG from the Squaresoft days. Specifically, the art style really speaks to me. And the art style of a lot of the characters does remind me a lot of the art style also in, of course, Final Fantasy XII. But this is a great game and a real good challenge. That's one thing I'll say about this. Definitely, I love the much darker, more serious tone to this fantasy RPG. It's a much more dark fantasy universe. And I just love the whole feel of this game, more so than many others. If you get a chance, really give this a shot, though it is definitely becoming a bit on the pricey side. Last but not least, as I've talked about this game multiple times now, and give it constant praise, and it sucks it's never been re-released physically or received an update or HD treatment. Now you can get this digitally, or at least you could, on the Vita as well as the PS3. Nothing else so far. That's the only other way to play it outside the PS1. Luckily, you can play this on PS2 and PS3 both. Done by Koei, or rather Koei Tecmo. This would be what would help influence the future Dynasty Warrior games. Die Strega is one of easily, in my opinion, maybe from my personal perspective, maybe the most criminally underrated 3D fighter of all time. Easily the most underrated fighting game on the PS1. This game deserves way more love than it gets for its 3D environments, 12 different stages, and completely easily to roam around, plus really cool energy attacks you can combine together. It even has a full story mode, like about 2.5 hours long. That was unheard of at the time when this came out in like 1998. So it's kind of crazy. Plus, how mobile you are. Like, gameplay wise, this game has aged superbly well. If you get a chance, check out Die Strega. It is a great game. I did a few videos back years ago on this game, if you want to check that out. Also, the well-known Maximilian dude did a video a couple of years back also on Die Strega. I'm just happy that at least a few people are now acknowledging this game's existence, as somebody who has been trying to champion this game for years now. But with that said, I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe, and again, hopefully enjoyed the music from Rhyme. With that said, I'll see y'all again soon enough, and I'll be putting up a poll in the next few days for the next criminally underrated list. And the three options are going to be GameCube, Xbox 360, and PS2. So let me know which you want more. With that said, I'll see y'all next time.